Alright. Welcome back, everybody. It's the final day of groups for PiGFest, and we've got a surprise qualifier whose PvT has looked utterly shameless. It's, of course, shameless. He's looked amazing in this matchup. In the qualifiers, unfortunately, as often happens as one of the lower seeds coming into a tournament, you do often get piled into a group with someone absolutely deadly. Now, we actually did create a kind of fun free-for-all format, but unfortunately, Shameless did not do well enough in that free-for-all to avoid this very deadly group. So he's in here with MARU, with REYNOR, with Trigger. And we're going to see if Shameless can punch up. I think if there's a matchup he can do it in, it is PvT for sure, and PvP. He looks really good in both of them. And I'm really curious to see what he can do in his debut PiGFest. MARU, of course, came very close to winning PiGFest 4, losing 3 wins to 4 losses against Max Packs back in that one a few years ago. Since then, MARU hasn't quite made it, well, actually, no. I mean, he hasn't been as close, but actually he made it to the finals again in the last PiGFest, didn't he? Against Serral there, he kind of crushed Serral in the upper bracket as well. But in the rematch in the grand finals, Serral managed to hold off all of MARU's advances and kind of turn that story around. But it was cool to see MARU both there and just a few tournaments at the beginning of this year kind of turn the tide on Serral after a few years of Serral having a very dominant win record against him. I'm sure MARU would love to get another chance to win here. Of course, there's no Clem in this tournament. He has unfortunately been on holiday during it, and there was not much of a gap in the scheduling. We would have had to delay the tournament by quite a few months to squeeze Clem in there, and if there's one thing experience of running tournaments has taught me, you do that. By the time you get to the new date, Serral, MARU, Rogue, one of the other big guys, if not 2 or 3, have to drop out for other reasons because those dates don't end up working for them anymore. Reaper's going to come in nice and early. It is a Stalker first. Good probe micro so far, but that orange hit point probe is an easy picking. And that's... Oh, actually, this Reaper's going to go down. Yeah, that's super worth. I think losing a probe to get the Reaper kills really good for Shameless. And it is a 1-Rax expand... Oh, sorry. A double gas 1-Rax 1 factory expand with reactor directly after the Reaper into double Reaper production and Hellions. So there could be a pretty strong follow-up aggression after killing the Reaper. A lot of players will skip the shield battery here, but that would be a mistake. When you know they've gone double gas, and I mean, remember he scouted with his probe at the start. It's usually very necessary to see what's going on. Hellions scouting around, checking for proxies nearby. Hallucinated Phoenix is going to come in early. There is that safety shield battery we were talking about, so Shameless playing an incredibly responsible style. Now, I think what Shameless has done really well is defending a lot of early 2-base pushes off just 2 gates pumping in regular gateway form in this matchup, getting the 3rd up and then kind of blitzing from there. But right now, his Stalkers are in the main base, and that means this Natural's a little open. That battery's not quite ready, but the probes do quickly pull away. Battery comes up, and looks like one Hellion goes down almost instantly. Nice Reaper grenades. Really nice Reaper grenades, though. How many probes will MARU be able to get? Looks like 5, I think, will be the final tally. Can he make it 6? Yeah, so it is. Yes, good focus fire. Really good focus fire. 6 probes, not too bad. I don't think that's game winning or anything like that. You can see there's still a 5-worker advantage. Immediate chronos on probes to recover. And the Robo goes down as Shameless realizes, there could be a Banshee coming in. Better get that Robo out. That being said, I do want to see Shameless take a 3rd. Probably about 5 minutes 15, 5:20, kind of as the next big thing as his priority. I wonder if he could even cut gateway production to do so. Ooh, supply block here for a few seconds. He's got 2 pylons coming up. And he will now, with the hallucinations, see the Widow Mine drop coming. Really nice. That's not going to be able to go in unless MARU's a crazy person. Oh, God, I forgot we were talking about MARU here, guys. MARU is absolutely mental when it comes to Widow Mine drops. I'll never forget him, 2018 BlizzCon against SOS. Up against 1 base Blink Stalker, sees 4 Stalkers on the edge of the base, and he boosts his medevac towards it. That's the sort of chaotic energy that has given MARU some of the big wins, the big upsets over the years. It's also occasionally led to some bad outcomes, but I think that one ended up being worth it. Lots of disruption, gets a Stalker, massive distraction, and there's still no 3rd base. And you can see Shameless now is just going 4 gas on 2 base. He's kind of going for the heavy attack option. And that means it's going to be no economic advantage, more of a, I've got to use my tech very well if I'm playing as Shameless. Dude, you are so racist for saying that about Maru. Wait, what? What are you talking about? Now I'm thinking about things that actually could unironically be that. I'm like, man, Maru's so good. He's so gritty. He's got that dog in him, man. Let that one hang for a few seconds to let you guys figure that one out, just for those who are a bit slower. Charge is on the way, Rover Bay as well. And bases are coming up as well. Stalker's coming forward. Bunker is going to try and repair. Tank can siege up. Successfully baited by the YouTube comment section, what can I say? Observer's going to pull back there. Ooh, Bio moving forward. Can he scan? Yeah, I think it's worth the scan, even though the Raven was a little, you know, it wasn't too far away. Maru's going to just push him away right now. Shameless doing a good job, though. I like the discipline of Shameless. Only one Stalker so far going down, but he doesn't really have a follow-up just yet. It's the Colossus that'll help him, of course, a lot, but I like the way Maru's kind of exerting pressure without overcommitting. He's building a third command center behind it. Very methodical. You can tell Maru doesn't feel like he necessarily needs to do anything too crazy. Wants to play solid, apply pressure. And I think when he sees that Colossus, will he back away? He's got 3 Marauders, but the Colossus obviously can roast the Marines. He goes for the auto turret drop. Wow, there's no battery on this base. That tank, you can see the white line of where it can reach, guys. As long as Shameless stays out of that range, should be able to defend this base. And his charge comes in a few more Zealots. These 3 gateways pumping Zealots. He's got a 4th gateway coming up as well, which is a massive amount of production. He can actually get a ton of Zealots and overwhelm us, but he's not there yet, and the Stalker's just abandoned his army. Oh no! He went to go intercept the reinforcements and flank the siege tank. Cute idea. He thought Maru was going to linger and loiter outside of his base, but he didn't. Maru just went super duper hard there, and I think that was exactly the right decision. Crushes through the 3rd. Shameless just a little too fragile in this situation, and that's a really nice game one for Maru. Side spawn, quite good for Terran here. I think a little unfortunate for Shameless coming up against, obviously, the greatest Terran player of all time. You'd love to play cross-map. Have a little bit more room between the two, because when you're in side spawn like this, the horizontal spawn, it really is hard to defend those pushes. Very nice play by Maru. Shameless, not a bad start. I don't think that was too shaky for him. That's just Maru doing Maru things. All right, guys. Shameless in the top left side of the map now. Pretty decent game one for him, but of course, Maru just playing so tight, so decisive. And you could see there the Colossus didn't quite get the room they needed to chip away at that army on the way across the map. And it's so funny because with that sort of build, the difference really is so minor, right? If that Colossus is maybe forward with 2 sentries to meet that army a little bit further out, and you can kind of force a siege up and pick off at some units, maybe bait a stim or 2, it can be utterly game-changing. But Maru got in there crisp. Very committed with the 2 base push, 3rd CC only building behind it. But it did the damage, and so he's got to be feeling good with that. Now, if you're playing an economic build, the most efficient build is 12 depot, 14 racks, 14 gas. But if you want to get an early Reaper, 13 racks, 13 gas is a bit more standard. I don't think this was a 13 gas. He's actually playing a double gas, is Maru. Okay, so he is doing double gas again. Probe obviously forcing him to lose a bit of money, but Shameless also has lost a bunch of money by sending a probe across this early. So the early probe, it really does delay both of your build orders. And as you can see, not enough gas to go for Reaper straight away. So it looks like I'm going to go Orbital on 16. Yeah. I think... If you're not building the Reaper straight away, I think 12 depot, 14 racks is probably slightly tighter for this. Just because you get one more SCV before the Orbital, which long-term is going to be more efficient. Short-term for tempo, like if you want to hit the fastest possible Reaper Hellion and stuff, which I guess he might want to do here, the earlier Mule, being 5 seconds earlier, does make a difference. Because it's basically an extra 25 minerals coming in. Because it takes, what, about 5 seconds to grab 25 minerals? So you kind of, get that 25 minerals 5 seconds early. Gives you a little bit of tempo here. And that's what Maru's looking for. Same opening as last game. Reactive straight after the Reaper. Looks like he's comfortable with this version of TVP right now. It is very expensive to take 2 gases this early. But notice he's pulled 2 workers off gas the moment he built the factory and the reactor. So he's not going too crazy in that regard, and going to go across the map. Checks the gold base on the way to make sure Shameless isn't trying to pull a fast one on him. Shameless trying to play very straight up, very solid. There wasn't really any edge other than I'm going to go quick Colossus, right? Before third base in that last game. I do wonder if maybe a Mass Zealot style would be a bit easier against MARU. I think Mass Zealot styles against the very best Terrans are incredibly dicey, hard to pull off. Because you can stop them killing you as early with the threat of the Zealots, but there's always the fall-off point when Bio hits a certain critical mass. And Zealots being melee units, if they can't get surface area, they cannot find the damage that they need. Reaper's going to rotate around here. Twilight Council coming up into Shield Battery as well. So very similar build. I think Shameless just maybe does this build every game. Solid opening, you know. And MARU, no Reaper Hellion follow-up, right? It's just same looking opening. And he's going to go into the Widow Mine drop. Command Center is coming up. Do wonder if he thinks about going something like Banshee behind this. If he senses that Shameless is purely defensive, he could skip Siege Tanks entirely and go straight for Stim, Shields, Medivacs. Skip all safety, and just basically abuse the fact that Shameless is being maybe a little predictable here. I don't know if MARU really feels like adjusting and adapting his build that much around his opponent. That's a level of respect that MARU doesn't give to too many players. Often he goes in with the plan that he thought was best from the start. Reaper's going to get taken out there. Does see what's going on. It's a triple Widow Mine drop. Going to move across the north of the map. Meanwhile, Adept comes through the center looking for some scouting. No bunker. No tank just yet, but of course the tech lab's coming down on the starport and the factory. The most standard way to play this would be build a Raven, build 2 tanks, then swap the barracks onto these tech labs. But like I said, if you skip those, especially the siege tank part, kind of is a way of saying, I'm not afraid of blink aggression, I want to get ahead. Ooh, bad time to leave the base, but quick response there for Shameless. Turns around, and those Widow Mines just needs to make sure these Stalkers are able to clean those up, get some good damage on them, and you've got to give him only one target. A player as good as MARU, he has more than one target, going to be able to keep retargeting endlessly. Good Stalker micro though. Probes go back to mining. Will he be able to pull on the natural in time as well? Yeah, crisp mechanics here from Shameless. But MARU's micro, very annoying. Like I said, got to give him only one target or he'll keep doing that up and down dance. And you can see lots of dead space here at Eternity's Edge. Bottom right side, checking in on MARU's base. He's got his Raven going across the map. He's building his second tank, swapping his second barracks onto the Starport Tech Lab. Starport will build a reactor for itself, and his third barracks getting ready to swap after this factory. It's about as standard as they come. Third gas is here, which means Engineering Bay will go down any moment now for MARU. Let's watch from MARU's camera, guys. His Widow Mine drops rotating. Raven's coming in from the other side. Ooh, Medevac will get itself boom-boomed. And does end up getting a shot, but it lands on the assimilator, unfortunately. Widow Mine not doing its job. Good macro management, though. Fourth gas goes down. Engineering Bay is a little bit later than I expected it here, but that's because MARU is, of course, prioritizing a few other things first. And this is kind of the modern meta, is I want to hit a really sharp stim timing, and I don't care about +1 weapons. It used to be Terran wouldn't really try to get active until +1 weapons was going. You can see the way MARU here is doing the more modern. I want to hit with Stim, Shields, Medivacs. +1 can come in later. I will accept being a little behind on upgrades in order to just get on the map with that bio, with those Medivacs, bully you away, get the work done. Ooh, speaking of getting work done, goodbye Stimpack. MARU is going to have to drop a third command center because he's not going to be able to push for a long time. He immediately cancels Combat Shield, starts Stim on the other tech lab. That is a frustrating loss. I think it was 2 Stalkers that went down. Total 4 Stalkers have died. I know one of those died to a Widow Mine, so maybe 3 Stalkers died just there. MARU has to build a third command center. He can't push because he doesn't have Stim. That's what's going on in Shameless's mind right now. Little does Shameless realize MARU is a Chad, and he says, who needs Stim? I've got a ton of units. You just threw away a few Stalkers. You recalled across the map. I can shove anyway because I just don't have respect for you, mate. I don't have respect for anyone. I'm MARU. That's always how MARU's played TVP. It's not about the opponent. It's just MARU will sense if there's an opening, he will push for it. Things that look like scary risks for MARU, very confident moving across this map. He thought it was the other third base, though, so he moved in the wrong direction. Now he's rotating to the correct side. There's only a few Stalkers and a Colossus here. The tanks get the position. Oh, man, if he blinked his Stalkers there, I think maybe he could have killed 1 or 2 of the tanks with the Colossus and the Stalkers, but Shameless needed to react to that really quickly, and I just don't think he had the vision. MARU coming forward. He says, who needs Stimpaks, mate? I got auto turrets, siege tanks, Marauders, and Marines. It's a beautiful setup, and once he gets that position, so hard for Shameless to deal with. This is lovely play by MARU. Really well executed. You know, we saw a hero yesterday bullying Cure a little bit, looking just unstoppable in this matchup. Then, of course, MARU comes in here against Shameless and says, what are you talking about, mate? I am still the king of this matchup. Stimpak's about to kick in, but he didn't even need it. No stim, no shields. Just a whole bunch of push, and Shameless perhaps being a little too greedy, as well as giving up map control for that stim snipe. GG, well played. MARU takes the 2-0, a very dominant start to the group for him. It is, of course, an expected result, but nonetheless a confidence booster for the Terran GOAT. All right. It is our second match of the final day of the group stage of PiGFest. We've got Basilisk's REYNOR in the bottom right side of the map, changing his name to Rey. After I asked him, I was like, why is it not REYNOR anymore? Why is it Rey? He said he watched a film. I hadn't heard of it. Apparently it's called The Force Awakens or Awokens or something like that. He said there was a really well fleshed out, cool character that basically was life-changing for his life philosophy and his playstyle. And as a result, this is Rey in the bottom right side of the map. In the top left, we've got Basilisk's Trigger playing Protoss. Comes in as a little bit of an underdog here. I do think he can absolutely take down REYNOR on a good day, but there are questions. Number one, REYNOR is the Zerg who hates this patch the most. He's been very vocal. He's like, I don't like the patch silly. And I was like, Zerg's pretty good. He's like, I don't care about balance, patch silly. So he's very vocal, throwing around curse words whenever you bring up this patch. Trigger, I'm not really sure how much he's been practicing, what his skill is, what his format is. I haven't been watching many Trigger games, so he's a bit of a black box for me. I'm sure some of the casters have been catching some of his performances in some of the weekly cups matches, which I haven't managed to see the replays of or anything like that. A bit more up to date, but I'm really curious how he plays. Obviously, you guys have heard my thoughts about feeling like there's really only one way for Protoss to keep up with Terran and Zerg these days, and that does involve maximizing gateway usage without paying money to transform them into warp gates, saving by keeping your gateway count much lower than you otherwise would, and then using that extra minerals to either take more gases earlier, more splash damage, more better quality units, or to take a very quick fourth base and utilize that. But if you don't use either of those and you kind of still build 8-9 gateways, make them into warp gates, you end up quite far behind, and it's very hard to pull off. Hero showed some glimmers of gateway madness yesterday, and he also showed a lot of sentry usage against the Hydra Bane of Solar. And I do think the sentries are a promising unit against Hydra Bane when the Zerg doesn't play Ravagers, but they're also a unit which does fall off very hard at a certain point in the game, so it's not quite a game-winning unit as much as a unit that can really help support certain situations as much as it can. What's with the hate against REYNOR? If someone's hating on REYNOR in the chat, they need to calm down. I will not brook it. Basically, so REYNOR, he does this thing called bantering, and he also has good vibes. There are a bunch of people in the StarCraft community who were bullied a lot growing up, and when they see REYNOR banter, it reminds them of their bullies, is my theory, and they hate it. They absolutely hate it, and they're constantly harassing him. And it's pretty lame and over at this point, so I will time them out if they keep it up in chat. We actually do enjoy REYNOR quite a lot over here. That's going to be going in as well. You're hating on Rey, the Star Wars character? What? Why would you do that? She's great. I didn't doze off in that film at all. It was fantastic. I did watch Andor finally recently, and that was actually amazing. Don't know if I think it gives me even more reason not to watch anything else Star Wars because it was just too good in comparison. Depths are going to shade in here. Will they find the damage? Nope, not yet. Third Nexus is pretty quick though. That's a nice wall off. Notice he's done the really elegant wall off with 2 holes. Obviously he'll close that hole on the right side soon. But this is basically him pushing his economy quite well. And I think preserving the Adepts is very essential because remember, until Warp Gate finishes, they're going to take 33 seconds to build. Massively, massively delayed. 6 seconds longer than a Stalker. It's absolutely crazy how slow it is to build Adepts in the early game. This is part of why the Protoss early game is, I think, harder than ever, is just that basic early Adept pressure. It's a little bit more awkward to get going. I like this pressure from REYNOR, but I think with the 2 Adepts and the Shade, taking up station there should be good. But that Adept just takes so long to build. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. That 3 seconds! It would have got in anyway, to be fair, but where is that second Oracle? It's about to pop out. These 2 Adepts probably should have left one in the wall. A little sloppy there from Trigger. Does leave an opening. The Lings are getting in right now. He's going to take out 2 probes. 2 drones did go down to the Oracle on the other side of the map, guys. I'm not sure how much damage the Oracle took in the process. But in general, you let the Lings in like this. REYNOR has a big smile on his face usually in these situations where he can waste your time. If he can run around, see everything. The Oracle did get deep in the red as well, by the way. So that Oracle's not going to be able to dive any mineral lines anytime soon. And I think Trigger leaving himself open, unfortunate. Historically, one of the big weaknesses Trigger's had is that when he takes damage in games, he often tries to counterattack and doesn't kind of calm down. And his answer to aggression is aggression of his own. He's a very fast player. Him and Clem play all day, every day. He's a really, really natural player at picking up other RTS games as well because he's so mechanically apt. But because he's so aggressive, I think sometimes you can bait him into kind of counterattacking to his own demise. This Adept Shade will get a few drones. Not too bad, actually. And he actually gets into the corner pretty nicely. Obviously, we'll lose all of the Adepts, but 3 drones make it somewhat worthwhile. But REYNOR already has a 4th base on the way. Not only that, REYNOR has skipped any sort of safety. He's like rushing Lair and Evo Chamber. 0 respect for any sort of threat of anything like Glaive Adepts. That's going to make it really tough for Trigger to keep up with him. It does already feel like REYNOR has the lead in this game. He's going to continue to make the most of it. Oracle will defend the 3rd base, but of course the Zerglings can just back away. REYNOR's got a significant advantage so far. Ooh, +1 range straight into Hydras. Oh my gosh, REYNOR just has all the advantages right here, doesn't he, guys? +1 range, Hydras, no Bathing Nest, no Roachhorn, 0 fear, only built 5 queens. And he's actually damaged Trigger for 4 probes, similar to the amount of drones he's lost. This is a really just dominating start for REYNOR. This is actually just out of this world. So good for REYNOR. How do you get back from here? If you're in Trigger's shoes, well, he's gone 6 gas. He's going to have to play very quick Storm and just turtle it up. But how do you ever get to a 4th base? We know what 5 base versus 3 base looks like this season. You get stuck 3 base versus 5 base. The Zerg will drown you in units. But that Templar Archives needs to be down yesterday. Because if he doesn't have Storms like banking up energy really soon, he is going to struggle. He's building a lot of Stalkers, but I don't think Stalkers are going to be able to put on a very serious pressure. The Hydras will already be on the field. There's already plenty of Zerglings here counterattacking. And REYNOR running circles around Trigger right now. Remember, REYNOR is a bit of a risky player, guys. He likes to play fast and loose, take little gambles here and there, push his work account to the extreme when he's being greedy, push his aggression to the extreme when he's being aggressive. Very dynamic, very fun to watch. But also a player who, it could be kind of hot and cold, right? And right now it's hot. It's very bad for Trigger. Everything's going really nicely for him. The Stasis Trap only gets a single Zergling. It's Trigger's first pressure. He's got a Templar Archives here now. I do like that he's only on 4 gateways. He's going to go to 7 gateways now, which tells us he's going to want to swap to Warp Gate for his High Templar. I think when you're this far behind, you have to stay in gateway mode to try and min-max, because then he could afford a lot of like cannons. He could use that minerals maybe to try to squeeze a 4th base in, though I don't think he can really defend it right now. I think Cannon Battery might be the answer on 3 base, and build just an immense amount of High Templar, creep out to a 4th, and hope that REYNOR doesn't rush Hive, which luckily REYNOR is not. REYNOR is not building an infestation. He's making heavy Hydra Zergling, and REYNOR will be pushing soon. REYNOR can hit before Psystorm, and High Templar already with that Storm would be really good. The Stalkers so far finding some good trades. They've picked off some units, but I think losing that 1 Oracle is actually incredibly expensive, and we may see the cost of that long term. Oracle on the right side chases the Zerglings back to the 5th base. 1 or 2 Stalkers have gone down. Double upgrades are on the way as well as Overlord speed. REYNOR thinking about dropping here. Cannons will start to go down. 7 gateways are up. Very hard to produce out of 7 gateways non-stop. That costs an immense amount of money, but High Templar do take a while to produce and cost a lot of gas, so it does make sense. Oracle's dancing in and out. Stalker's trying to fall back right now. The Hydra link count's just a little bit too high, and I think REYNOR too far ahead off this opening. And with no Psystorms there to back up the defense, this was the perfect window of time. This is a sad Psystorm coming forwards after all the rest of the defenses have crumbled. Really well played by REYNOR. A clear, confident ZVP marauding style. And Trigger has to be so careful. He cannot be letting Lings into his base at the start like in that last game. Because of that, his Oracle spent so much time at home, and REYNOR just had a free reign to drone into a big advantage. GG, well played. Nice game 1 for REYNOR. Trigger's got to keep that wall plugged. sending both adepts to the third, a big mistake, but maybe not quite used to the situation he was in. And maybe I think he just thought that adept was going to pop out in time, because that adept was like 5 seconds from popping out when those lings ran in. But that really was a complete game changer. All right, guys, nice game one there for REYNOR. Trigger, leaving the door open is very punishing. One of the big things I've noticed with the early game in PvZ is like, if you lose your first 2 adepts, getting them surrounded by zerglings or something, it's very, very hard. And likewise, if you ever let that door stay open, it's really frustrating. You really need to like kind of have adepts with oracles kind of controlling the map, keeping yourself safe. And because those adepts build so slowly at the start, they just come out at a slower cadence. It's harder to force early zerglings, to punish the zerg, having link speed a little bit late, that sort of thing. So it's very important that you keep those adepts alive and keep them in position. And I think for him, he didn't want to lose the pylon on the third, but I don't think he was that important because REYNOR was already backing away. I think he could have sent one adept to defend the third, hidden in the minerals. The other adept could have stayed in the natural until that third adept came out, but just a little lazy. Thought, oh yeah, REYNOR's pulling away. New adept will pop out soon. Let's go for it. 16 hatchery for REYNOR on his third base due to the early block. Nice disruption there for Trigger. We'll see if he goes for the double adept chrono afterwards. Of course, chronoing his probes as fast as he can. About 7.5 seconds is when your first chrono is meant to start, guys, so that it doesn't cause you to miss any production time in your main. And then you do your second one the moment you get 50 energy. Unless you're really a player who struggles with early pools, then you can save that second chrono until you confirm that it's not an early pool build order. But generally, I think you can defend early pool with the second chrono on probes. Just makes it slightly harder to get those zealots out. It's like the players have changed colors. Sorry, guys. There's a lot of things I got to run on these days, and I think I told Shameless and MARU to stay same color every game. I'm not sure if I told these guys, but I will try to ask the other casters to help me enforce this. We got a bunch of different language commentators covering the show as well. I might deputize someone and make their entire job enforcing players saying stay the same color game to game, because it's quite annoying to have them change back and forth. At least I've got this button, you see, where I can change the frame color, but quite annoying to have them be one color and then it changes the next. It doesn't really matter when it's not a mirror matchup, but when it's a mirror matchup and they keep swapping colors, I feel like that's so bad for the casual viewers. You got like a TVT and then they're like, oh, Beyond's red, now Hero Marine's red, and you're like, oh, this is so confusing, I'm so sorry. Yeah, we fixed the scoreboard, thanks guys. Best of 3s to start, best of 5s in the qualification matches. REYNOR would love to go to that qualification match against MARU, who's waiting for him. Stargate goes down at about 3 minutes. Not the fastest Stargate by any means, but notice this is the economic focus build. Trigger is not building any chronos on his adepts. He is super defensive here. So he's giving REYNOR some chill time. REYNOR did build 4 Zerglings and a quick link speed anyway, so REYNOR kind of just playing a standard build order no matter what. Trigger's going to be very economic focused. Another chrono in the main. Now, arguably, that chrono should have just been used on the natural, where the probes can pop out and immediately start mining, but I think he just wanted to get it out as quickly as possible, and the extra pylon here means he will be able to start that oracle with no delay. It's very important you keep building adepts non-stop in the early game as well, so he'll go oracle, and you'll see you're kind of starved for money here, so you gotta find that 100 minerals for that next adept, and immediately starts it. Not gonna make the same mistake as last game. Cool. Yeah, good play. 2 more overlords are on the way for REYNOR. REYNOR should be back on gas soon. I think he waits till his natural's basically saturated, and then probably rallies drones to that gas in just a moment here. No Spore Crawler down just yet. Feels like he's waiting very long to go for that. So unless he's going to defend with just 2 queens in each base, which, I mean, he could do that, but no, there we go. Spore Crawler does go down. 4 minutes 15 is the Spore Crawler pro gamer timing. If we follow REYNOR's build order, seems good. Third base comes down. The adepts are here with the oracle. He should be canceling that shade, though, I believe. Warp gate almost done. Once warp gate's finished, you can make those adepts in 16 seconds. Not quite as fast as zealots and stalkers, but still reasonably fast. Adepts are going to shade forwards. Takes out 1 drone. Will he take out 2? Yes, he will. 3 drones go down. Make it 4. And the adepts going to be taking out 5 drones. Not bad for 2 adepts. That's decent damage. Same time, you are giving up a lot of map control when you already don't have much. Now notice, there we go. Warp gate's kicked in, which allows these gateways to produce much faster in their regular gateway form. And Twilight Council on the way. So it's 3 gas Twilight Council. Trigger has 2 oracles, 3 adepts. See, the worker count's very competitive between the two. But of course, this is usually kind of a certain point where Zerg may start to run away with things if Trigger doesn't find any damage. And he's not found any damage beyond those 5 drones for 2 adepts, which, as much as it's nice to damage their economy, if it gives up your map control and the Zerg's able to just freely drone behind that, it's actually fine for the Zerg player. Lair has started. It's not a super fast Lair, and there is a Roach Horn as well for REYNOR. I think this is good because Trigger is playing Blink, and if he wasn't... Ooh, Overlord just died back here, by the way. Good denial. Sees a gateway coming up. It is going to be 4 gates pretty early. Of course, 4 gateways can pump out a massive army. See what Trigger wants to do with it. But it's good he's playing against Roaches. If he was playing against upgraded Zerglings, Stalkers would really struggle to get any sort of pressure going. But if REYNOR builds a bunch of Roaches, it could go well. It could just be a safety Roach Horn, and REYNOR might just go Hydra Bane afterwards. The Oracle's being a nuisance. Good amount of mining time going down, and REYNOR does get a little annoyed there, but overall, very clean handling for the Italian Zerg player. Oh, REYNOR not in his wall-off, but the advantage of gateway production, that's why you build gates in your main. So even if they get inside your base, you've got units popping so frequently with constant production, it doesn't really hurt. I think this is perfectly fine. There's no information for him to glean there. It's just 4 gases. To be fair, Trigger going to go for a pretty hefty Stalker pressure, and he's going to commit to Warp Gate as well. But he's only got 4 gateways. Interesting. So he's kind of doing this like a Blink all-in almost, right? And yeah, REYNOR did just do this as a safety Roach Horn, by the way. He's going into Hydra Den, not using the Roach Horn. So it's just unupgraded Zergling into Hydras up against Blink Stalker Oracle. I think this has some real promise. I think Trigger can deny this 4th base. REYNOR is already taking a 5th up top, so he might be willing to give it up. Is there anything at home to defend? There's an Oracle here. 2 Oracles. Both lasers are on, though, which means they're not going to have any energy in a little whiles. I think he's got to energy recharge at least one of these. Otherwise, he's really going to struggle to cover these Zerglings. And there you go. 3 Stalkers at home. Oracle chasing the Zerglings. There's a really good pressure for Trigger. The question is, though, what's he going to do with it? It feels like he's going all in on Stalkers. I mean, I kind of wish he was just going Storm and a 4th base behind this. Because he's built a forward advantage now. He's slowed down REYNOR, so REYNOR can't drone the 4th. That's a good trade for REYNOR, though. Gets a few Stalkers there. 4 Stalkers going down does equalize the units lost tab a bit. Zerglings are incredibly cheap. 7 Zerglings for 1 Stalker is an even trade. Just to put that one in perspective for you. And Warp Gates are now up. Trigger's going to go very committed onto Creep. And Trigger has some of the best Blink Stalker micro in the world, so I can't hate on it. I once saw Trigger down 60, 70 supply against Solar, 2 base against 4 base, and he just microed Blink Stalkers for 15 minutes. Ended up winning the game. One of the most impressive displays I've ever seen. Let's see if he can pull that sort of thing off here. He's down in supply, but he's got +1. He's got Oracles overhead that they don't have much energy. He's got a ton of Stalkers. He blinks forward there. Very ambitious blink forward. I think maybe a bit too crazy, though. I think he should have shuffled back. That's a lot of Hydras. And those Queens did an amazing job of tanking there. Trigger is very all in right now. He's got to start blinking back these weak Stalkers. But I think he's traded a bit too much of his damage, and now he's going to have to give up this position. Trigger goes for the big timing here. It's a big 7-gate Stalker attack. And REYNOR does hold on. Trigger has a lot of minerals. He's going to make charge, realizing, oh, I better spend that minerals, but he's going to struggle here to get that next step going. Stalkers moving forward on the north side. We've got Lings looping around there as well. Hydra's going to try to gather up. The Stalkers blink forward. They do take out an Overlord. 2 Stalkers do go down. Make it 3. Lings coming in from the right side as well. Hydra's running forwards here. Very nicely done. Stalkers pulling away, and yeah, Pig, that was the best micro. Guys, if you blink forward, you don't have any more micro you can do. It was a gamble, and it was the wrong gamble. We can't say Trigger has bad micro because he made a bad choice there, all right? Come on, man. He's getting overwhelmed. Bloody hater in the chat, man. We've seen Hero and Parting and the best Protoss do that a million times before. It's a big gamble. He thought he had the critical mass to overwhelm when he blinked forward. Obviously, he didn't. Oh, you guys just have zero chill in the chat. Oh, my lord. Good hold for REYNOR, honestly. I think the early pressure was good, but the follow-up attack didn't quite manage to find the damage right, guys. So it was just a good hold with the mass Hydra there on 64 drones for Trigger. Yeah, I think the opening pressure was really good, though. Like, the 4-gate pressure put him in a really good position. So I do think Storm transition would have been better than the Warp Gate commitment. What do you got? Because I feel like if you just rally Stalkers and Oracles, it's really hard for him to deal with, defend the 4th. And then you could either go Storm, 4th base, or Colossus maybe would be nice here as well. Actually, because so many people playing Ling Hydra, REYNOR loves it. I wonder if Colossus transition would have been sick. If he drops 2 more gases. He already took the 6th gas here. If he starts mining this gas, takes that gas. I wonder if there's like a 4-gate Robo transition would actually be really sick here. GG, well played. Either way, great games by REYNOR. Game 1, he was way too far ahead. This game was actually very competitive, but that blink forward was not the play. I think it's a very even game at the point when he chooses to blink forward, right, guys? Let's just check. At this point, he's down 15 supply. They're equal worker count. New 4th base has just popped up. He's got +1. REYNOR doesn't. REYNOR hasn't started movement speed on his Hydras. He's only got range and Ling speed. It's a very even game, I think. Yeah, I'd say this is a super even game. He's got 7 gateways. Obviously, he doesn't have splash damage yet, and Hydra Ling's good against Stalkers. But, you know, you mix in Zealots for Zerglings, you go into some form of splash damage. I think this was a very decent spot that Trigger was in, but it's really hard to bust through a REYNOR who just masses Hydra Ling on 64 workers. Great defense for REYNOR. Alright, guys. We've got Shameless on the top left side of the map, Trigger in the bottom right side of the map. It's unfortunately the elimination match, the first player to go home here in Group D. Shameless comes in as a big underdog, and I actually admire this, guys. A blind 1-gate expand. I love this choice. I don't know if Trigger's a guy who's just going to blind proxy Robo or anything like that. So, you know, Trigger's actually playing a blind 2-gate opening, and I think he's probably not expecting Shameless to be this greedy. Shameless may have studied Trigger and realized, hey, he likes to play greedy 2-gate openings, kind of middle of the road greed. I'm going to play greed. I'm going to play very delayed probe scout, blind expansion. Great play here, and I think the build orders match up well for Shameless. Doesn't mean he's going to win off this build order, of course. The Adepts could still do big damage, all sorts of things could go on. Does he recall to save the probe? The Adepts are hunting. Probe escapes. Unless those shades double back, which they do not. Nice movement. Robo on the way. Oh, Trigger's 1-basing. He is 1-basing. Never mind, guys. He's just not proxying anything. He's still going to just build a Prism and go for a 3-gate all-in. But he's doing it off a build order that looks a little bit more like a potential expand. You can see that probe coming in. Got a wall off, does Shameless. Shameless. Plenty of time to react there. The Adepts are going to shade in, take out 1 probe. Not much damage here. Does the force field get him? No. Probes are going to fight this. Unfortunately, no battery up just yet. 4 probes, not bad damage. We'll lose an Adept for it. We'll trigger. And at home, Shameless comes in, sees the Robo. All right, so how do you defend this, guys? Generally speaking, sentries, stalkers, batteries. If you non-stop produce stalkers and sentries, you can be good, but obviously you have to stay in gateway form here. You cannot swap over to warp gates, as that will massively slow down your production. Sentries only take 12 seconds to build, by the way, as that production tab bugs out, guys. Oh my lord, the sentries are building so quickly, the production tab's exploding. Oh my god, I haven't seen that visual bug before. What is that? Literally, sorry guys, seizure warning for anyone out there. That production tab going ham, and it's a no way Trigger, my boy, guys. He's going for the 1-base ball boy build. So it's a crazy build order. He's gonna go disruptors on 1-base. So it's gonna be 3-gate stalker with the prism to like start harassing and doing damage. He's got adepts coming in as well, which great hallucination to see that, by the way. But yeah, behind this, he's gonna come in and just drop balls on the sentries. Sentries really struggle to spread against that. That being said, the numbers advantage for Shameless will be good, but batteries are not the right answer against disruptors. So a lot of people will build like a ton of sentries, a ton of batteries, and disruptors prey specifically on this sort of response, where you kind of need to be able to get out in the open and overwhelm the disruptor player's army, and you need room to micro against the disruptor shots as well. But it's going to take forever for them to rally across. It's such a slow all-in from Trigger, which is why it's so rare. Trigger definitely gives me some fun vibes here. Thank you, Clockbash, and whoever else was pointing out the colors there. We fixed the colors. Appreciate you. 2 adepts have gone down for 1 stalker and 5 probes. So many adepts warping in, which is going to be a nice unit, I guess, for tanking and just not dying too quickly, as well as costing a bit less gas, allowing you to build these disruptors. First disruptors slowly, I was going to say walking waltzing, balling his way across the map. 'Cause I'm free balling. This ball has a lot of work to do, guys. There is a lot of hopes and dreams that are resting upon that one spherical object. Is it going to find the damage? First shot finds nothing. That's a good defense for Shameless. I'm telling you guys, Shameless is really impressed in the qualifiers. Losing 2-0 to MARU, the greatest Terran of all time, says nothing about his preparation for this tournament. One Adept does get inside the main. It is only one, though. I think Probes can deal with that with a bit of an A move. Oh, the Phoenix comes out, picks up the Disruptor. Wow, what a clever counter. But Phoenix does get focused down. Disruptor shot comes in. Only gets a single Stalker, though. Dude, Trigger's finding nothing here, man. He needs to get out of here. Prism is so low. He needs another Disruptor shot to cover his retreat. The Zealots and Adepts are good for tanking, but he needs more Stalkers for regular damage output. And he throws the Disruptor shot, but all it does is force Shameless to disengage. Shameless is up 12 workers. Shameless, honestly, I think should stay in the open and just fight. As long as you pre-spread, Disruptors cannot do a lot of damage. But I think pulling back near the batteries sometimes clumps your units a lot, where that one got 2 Stalkers. Much better shot. This one won't hit anything, though. Too far away. You have to throw the shot from close enough that they can't easily avoid it, but you don't want to be so close that they can kill the Disruptor. Phoenix disabling that shot. The Stalkers will take care of the Phoenix. A new Disruptor shot comes online. Could be a big one. Gets 2 Stalkers in a sentry. Another Disruptor comes online as well. He's going to throw another shot out. Starting to turn in Trigger's favor. He's up in army supply now. He says, I don't care if you're mining more than me. I have 3 balls. Time to do a Reddit AMA. It's crazy, man. 3 balls. Pretty much always got one ready to fire off here. Really hard to dodge this. Still feels like the production amount for Shameless is so good. If he could just get rid of these Disruptors. Oh, one of them goes down. A few probes getting pulled. Really good fight. And then you just pull back. Yeah. I think you want to just keep fighting out here as Shameless. I think as long as you fight in the open, it's much easier to dodge. Does lose 2 Stalkers and a sentry. 3 gateways in a robo over there. We're going to see the Nexus go down for Trigger. But look at the macro behind this. I'm telling you, man, Shameless is very impressive. Shameless is a player who a year or 2 ago I would not have ever thought as someone who would both qualify for PiGFest and then look like he belongs there. But Shameless has really evolved as a player, and I think he's taken to this gateway production very nicely. Has a great understanding of how to defensively use those gateways in PvT and PvP. Haven't really seen his PvZ at all. Oh, big Disruptor, but no, the Phoenix pickup is so crucial. That Prism taking big damage. There's Disruptor on the ground. I like that he doesn't focus the Disruptor. He knew Trigger was going to pick that up with the Prism, so he focuses the Stalkers down instead, but that's more than enough damage, man. Just absolutely obliterates. Units lost tab back to close to even. He maybe could have ran forward and just focused that Disruptor there, but does play the safe option, and that's a good call. It's no Twilight Council. It's just unupgraded Stalkers and Disruptors. And of course, Shameless. He's got a mass of Stalkers. A Robo, a 3rd Gateway. How many Phoenix has he lost? 4 Phoenix? He's disabled so many key Disruptor shots that it's totally fine. Such an odd all-in for Trigger to go for, guys. I thought he would just try and shove like up the ramp with the 3-gate. But there was a battery on the high ground, so many batteries on the natural. Shameless took it seriously, and I think the probe just seeing exactly what was happening kind of made this too easy for him. I think Trigger doing such a delayed all-in should have made it a bit harder for Shameless to figure out what was happening, you know? Disruptor goes forward, Phoenix come in, the Disruptors get shut down, the Prism goes down, and that's going to be that. What a nice game for Shameless. I think that the Stargate counter, I think it was reactive, right, guys? I think it was him saying, you know what? You're playing some sort of robo all-in. Let's get Phoenix to deal with Immortals and Warp Prisms. It works so well against the Disruptors as well, and I think it was the exact right call. I'm going to rewind at the end of this game to the point when he decided to go for that Stargate and just see if it was something he saw that made him do it. As he does get game 1. Nice game 1 here for Shameless. Let's go take a look. Okay, guys, so Stargate. Okay, so guys, the Stargate went down at 5 minutes, at which point he'd seen the Robo. He knew he was being all in. I think this just might be his go-to in these scenarios where he knows the Prism is a problem. Phoenix can shoot down the Prism, pick off any key units, and sometimes if your opponent tries to drop, you can pick up the units so they can't run away as well. So I think Phoenix is in general a decent defensive support unit. And then, of course, you add the power of the Phoenix against the Disruptors, and it's just absolutely insane because it cancels their shot on pickup. Very well played, man. GG. Well played. All right, guys. We've got Shameless in the top right side of the map. Trigger in the bottom left of the map. It's going to be wild, man. This is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Shameless looking so good. Now, we had an update. A few of the people in the chat said Shameless is a really interesting player because his PvP, he has upset some of the best PvP players in the world in recent months. And there's actually a really unlucky matchup for Trigger in that regard. Apparently, Shameless has been upsetting Hero, a few other top players in weekly cups. So he's actually amazing. I actually think his PvT looks great as well. And he's going to go down here for a proxy immediately. Now, you guys tell me, is this a proxy? I think this is just him hiding a pylon and then going back to business, but I could be totally wrong. It does look like a decent spot to hide a Stargate where it's pretty much unscoutable as well. My favorite gimmick build order, if you think you're way worse than your opponent, is to hide a Stargate behind the third and go Phoenix Zealot, Phoenix Charge, while pretending you're one base proxy all-inning. You actually just expand. Very gimmicky build order. Don't think this will be that. I think this is... He's going to go back to the proxy now. This is a blind Nexus for Trigger this time, guys. So Trigger's the one who's playing the greedy opening. We do see... I swear we see a few more gambles these days. It's interesting because I think if you're playing against Hero and you do a blind Nexus, I kind of feel like you lose every single game. But I'm also... I don't know, man. It's probably not a bad idea. I really think it really depends on the players and the build orders people open with. If someone is blind committing to proxy Robo, I think it just free wins against the Nexus almost always. But if they're doing more of like a Robo at home build like Trigger was in that last game on a big long map as well, like that previous map was, you can see Shameless was able to defend it really nicely. He's going to go 2 Adepts into Stargate. Looks like just a pretty standard Oracle opening then into an Expand. And I think that's a very perfectly fine opening for Shameless. Like, yeah, your Nexus is going to be later, but you've got Adept Oracle pressure, and then you can macro up behind it. The only thing that ruins you is if a probe came in and pylon blocked you right now, but you'd be crazy to spare money for a pylon as Trigger. Trigger needs to just defend now. Trigger's playing 2 gate. Oh, that's cool. He's going to play full Gateway Man on this 1 gate expand. Barely gets enough money for the battery there. Probe comes in, sees the Nexus behind it. So Trigger knows that he's not being all in, which means he can refocus on probe production now. He's already up 5 probes, so it's a pretty big advantage for him. Expand build's doing really well. It's kind of a classic thing, I would say, in general for PvP, is the foreign scene players get really good at expanding and really good success with it. And then the Korean scene players are much more powerful with one base play. Stalker Sentry in the main base. Now, Trigger does play in Korea these days, has been living there for a while. But I'd say he's still a hybrid player at heart. It's kind of the mix of both worlds. Adept does get taken out. The other one does shade backwards to there. So far, no damage, man. And that's not good. Shameless is down 9 workers. Everything's been spotted. He goes for a Twilight, but I'm looking at this and thinking, these 2 Oracles, they just have their work cut out. Maybe go for the rally. Try to catch probes rallying between the Nexus. But look, there's a hallucination tracking it. Trigger is all over this, man. Adept does at least find the probe over here, building that pylon, which is good. So if Adepts came in and did damage, this would be over. Looks like a really solid advantage for the blind expand here. For Trigger. Pushes the Oracles away, they take heavy damage. Blink's on the way. Double probe production is non-stop. Twilight Council's not much later for Trigger. He's got perfect Stalker positioning. Third Nexus immediately. Beautiful play. Trigger can't move out because he's got to leave too much defense for the double Oracle. So he just takes the third, which is, yeah, that's what you do. If you can't move out, take an extra base, build your economy even more, maintain your advantage, force the opponent to either match your economy or come do some damage. And Shameless is still trailing by 5 probes, trying to catch back up there. And it's trying to Blink as well, which is quite nice. Once Blink is done, it's much more dangerous for these Oracles to fly around. Remember that Stasis Trap duration got heavily nerfed? It only lasts for, I think, 1.5 minutes now. It used to be almost 3 minutes. So you can't just spam Stasis Traps and expect them to actually give you value the way you used to. We have an update from our Twitch chat live reporter that can always be trusted, guys. Apparently, there is an unconfirmed report that Shameless got an Alpha Star implant. So just remember, the reason your local electricity bills are so high is Shameless has been outsourcing his strategies, apparently, to the AI. Good to know. Definitely a real report from Twitch chat. Dep's going to only get one probe there. That's a good cleanup for Trigger, man. This is a really good cleanup. Trigger's just running away with this game. Complete change of pace from game one. In general, I like the idea of playing a really aggressive build into a more greedy, solid defensive build in game two. Obviously, if you crush game one, it's even better. But the fact that Trigger's in such a good position shows that he's doing this really, really well. When behind Dark Shrine, question mark. Well, I think he saw the Robo, right? Yeah, he saw the Robo. And, yeah. He kind of knew that was going to happen. I think generally the Dark Shrine's a better call for Trigger here. Because if Trigger can focus the Oracles down, you're not going to build a Robo on Shameless side. And if you lose these Oracles, suddenly no detection on the map. So usually that's the kind of spot to pick it. Keep in mind, guys, we do have destructible cooling towers here. You can break this to destroy these minerals. Shameless is going to have to pause there, guys. I think that's... Shameless, what are you doing? I told you to stop playing those games, Shameless. Mom, I'm playing a tournament. It's really serious. Oh, it's so serious and professional. What's it called then? The Professional StarCraft League? It's called PiGFest? PiGFest? That can't be a real tournament. Stop playing games. You're an embarrassment to the family, Shameless. Why aren't you going to university to become a respectable career like a lawyer or a doctor or an engineer? Like your brother. Your brother, he's such a good example. Be more like your brother. Okay, guys, thankfully, Shameless's mom has left the room. We're going to get back into it.
Game resumed.
It's going to be a real test to see if Shameless can handle the mom just backseating like that and kind of really chipping away at his confidence. Takes true dedication to still confidently play your A game when your mom's just not a believer, you know? Sometimes that's what it takes to find greatness. Some people do it with the support of family and friends. Others... Oh, no, the Oracle's caught out in the open. 2 Oracles do get blinked on and taken down. Dark Shrine's on the way for Shameless. There's an observer out front his base, and he's got no detection now. Building cannons. Kind of a necessity to build some detection if you are in Shameless's shoes. And he's a bit far behind, so the Dark Shrine, if it doesn't find any damage, it's going to make this a very tough situation. Pylon's going down around there as well. +1 weapons coming in at very similar times. Obviously, we can just see there's a faster fourth. The supply gap is real. It's always kind of tough to say, because like skipping static defense can really help you get a more mobile army to cover the fact that you're behind as Shameless. But also, I mean, then the Zealots come in, the DTs, and you just fall apart. So he's trying to play very solid, but it means he's copping a 25 supply disadvantage on the army supply. Not to mention the workers. And that's very painful. He's going to go Blink DT. Wow. Okay, so Shameless clearly has a late game plan. He's going to be going for the early Blink DTs, diving on cannons, sniping them down, that sort of stuff. It's a very, very good move. I absolutely hate playing against Protoss players who are good with Blink DTs. So it's a very powerful skill in the matchup. If Trigger just leans on him right now with Immortal Sentry Stalker, he wins the game. Guardian Shield plus Immortals, plus just the supply advantage. There should not be a way for Shameless to defend. Now notice both players are using regular gateways, non-stop pumping right here. Really, really efficient. And this is 4 bases off 4 gateways, guys. Which is exactly the correct way to play. 4 bases off 4 gateways. Both of them just now going to 6 gateways. Beautiful play. Really efficient, really maximizing their gateway greed. What you've got to do to get the best advantage here. Stalker's dancing on the 4th base. Shameless still down about 30 army supply. I love the whole position for Trigger. Just says, nope, gonna take your 4th base. And that's a lot of infrastructure to lose. Shameless wisely gives it up. Doesn't have a disruptor or anything like that. Tries to micro down there. He should hold this ramp. Should hold this ramp. DTs are warping in, guys. Where are they warping in? Bottom side. Okay, so he's going to try and dive. I think he should wait for like 4 or 5 DTs. 3 DTs can kill a cannon very quickly, but with the battery healing, it just becomes a little more dicey. Little Stalker running into each other over there. Trigger, I do agree with that blink. Takes out a couple of Stalkers. Look at that. How good is the battery? Not good enough. Still gets 3-shot there. That's going to be abandoning of the base. Can he hold on at home, though? Trigger just dives now. The probe's tanking a fair amount of shots, but the numbers advantage is just too real. Trigger with an excellent greedy 1-gate expand. And so far, guys, we are seeing 2 games where blind 1-gate expand is the build to win it all. That being said, the DTs of Shameless causing some real trouble on the other side. DT's coming in here. He sniped the Observer. He knows his comeback plays, his comeback win conditions. It's sniping Observers and being very frustrating there. He blinks forward, does take out an Immortal there. The recall comes in. These DTs do have to run away. 43 probes to 70. And of course, there's still 6 Nexi standing for Trigger, which means he's in a very good spot. Guys, MARU is going to intentionally lose to REYNOR so that he won't face Sterile Kappa. Yeah, losing on purpose in this tournament is a very unwise choice because you do get first place out of the groups. You get an extra life in the playoffs, essentially. You can speed run to the semifinals if you win the upper bracket match. Stalkers, oh, getting blinked on. Here we go. He's going to blink south there. Cannon's going to try and take some damage. Stalker will move away. DTs are going to run in. Oh, me oh my. The DT is blinking and taking out some cannons. Probe's taking some damage as well. These Stalkers do have to recall. These DTs trying to run away as best they can. They're getting a lot of probe kills. You can tell Shameless has a lot of experience playing from behind. Most players would have keeled over a while ago, but you can see he still kind of has plans, ideas, set plays that are practiced of what to do in these situations. It raises his win percentage chance here from 1%, or let's say 0.01% to 0.1%. Literally 10 times the win percent chance. Still almost nothing. But he's just kind of creating possibilities for Trigger to make mistakes. Now, Trigger's doing the correct things. He's building cannons. He's building observers. He's getting detection. He's rebuilding his economy. He's making sure he's keeping track of where Shameless Army is. And he's building extra observers as well. So there's just really good insurance for Trigger in this game. Both players still non-stop producing out of the gateways. I love to see it, guys. And you can really see both players having a really amazing handle on how to just keep on mass producing out of those gateways. Not wasting the time and the money going into warp gates early. Maintain momentum. Really only once you're pretty much maxed with a lot of bank going into that. I'm sure they would have if it went there. But we'll see how it goes, guys. Nice game 2 for Trigger. Ties up the series 1-1. We have a series on our hands. All right, guys. Shameless on the top right side of the map. Trigger in the bottom left side. Trigger wants that low ground for potential expand. Great map for it here on Lockdown. You've got a very tight ramp. And quite an interesting map. I'm happy Lockdown made it into kind of the ladder pool. We're playing in a lot of tournaments. I believe this is Niala's first, I think it's the first map she's made in terms of TLMC submission. Straight into the ladder is kind of a bit of a speed run there. We've seen some fun games on it. It's got some decent pathing, even though it is a bit more of a standard map, I'd say. It's got some diabolical late game kind of siege up sort of positions. Won't really matter in this matchup unless you get, to Disruptor versus Disruptor sort of armies, which is very rare. You might say that it's just literally Daybreak, says Chat. It is one of the more generic. I'm very happy we got like Old Sun Temple and Fear and Faith and these big 4-player maps and all that sort of stuff. But always happy to see new map makers on the scene. Is that Nexus first? Trigger! What the hell? Is he crazy? Oh my gosh, he's bringing out the Taiwanese special. Haas, somewhere, is hanging out at an anime convention, and he just suddenly feels a tingle in his nethers, and he's like, someone just went Nexus first in PvP. Oh, you guys know Haas is happy. You guys know Haas is happy. Predictions, by the way. I ain't doing predictions if there's no mods on. You guys are screwed. I don't think we have any mods on. We can deputize someone after this game, guys, but I don't think there's any mods. I can pay out the other one, of course, but sorry. I can't run predictions and a tournament at the same time. Too much going on. Proxy Robo for Shameless. Oh, blind Proxy Robo. Dude, these guys are both just gambling. Now, to be fair, you can defend this with Nexus first. You might be surprised. You can defend this with Nexus first. It's incredibly hard. I think it's technically possible. Trigger is going to go in. Will he realize that he's even being all-in is part of the question. This is so scary, man. Oh, this is really, really scary. He's going to come in. The Adepts are going to kill him immediately. But, I mean, he sees no probe production. He sees no second pylon in the main. This looks incredibly suspicious. He's going to go Sentry, Stalker immediately. He's probing. Probes are, of course, not a priority here. It's going to be getting batteries and things and trying to defend this ramp. Keep in mind, these gateways are somewhat exposed to getting picked off, but you can also go forward on these corners and actually fight the units there. But the Prism can always pick up and save units from force fields. Shameless. This is a very committed attack. He's going to go Prism. He's going Pylon before third gateway, which is kind of interesting. I guess he's going straight for the Immortal. Okay, that's why. Straight for the Immortal. So he's going to go for a 2 Adept drop into the Immortal. Ooh. Pylon and Robo in the main base. Stalkers are building. And Trigger pausing probes, which is absolutely the correct call. The Adepts are inside the main. Trigger doesn't know about it. Ooh, they could do big damage. Trigger does have an excess of probes, so it's not the end of the world. And great force field. Great force field, in fact. Splits it up. He only loses 2 probes in total this game, one of which was the scouting probe. Really well done. Stalker, Sentry, and the Immortal are going to rotate to the front. They're going to start trying to crack through the ramp. Warp Gate is almost finished. It's only 2 gateways, though, which means he's just going to keep rallying Immortals and just building out of 2 gateways. Wow. I think you go Prism first as Trigger. I could be wrong on that. Maybe. I mean, obviously, the Immortal's the better raw combat unit. And there's only 1 Sentry for Shameless, so yeah, you don't need to worry about force fields too much. Cybercore, you definitely should keep the Cybercore alive. That's what you've got to be. That's what the Warp Prism is for. It's saving units that get trapped by that. Warp Gate will finish here. Has he started a new Cybercore? Yes, he has. New Cybercore starts in the main. Zealots are building as well. Sentries and Stalkers. Good shimmy forwards here. Shameless lifting those units onto the front line. The Adepts doing really well. The probes have been pulled. Energy recharge has already been used up, and I think Trigger here might just be getting overrun. His Immortal comes forward. His Stalkers and Immortals focus. Shameless has to be careful. He picks up, drops the Immortal. A second Immortal's about to come in. Dude, a committed all in here for Shameless. Trigger gambling so hard in this series. 1 base all in into blind 1 gate expand into blind Nexus first. I think he thought Shameless would 1 gate expand here. And he said, I will outgreed the greed. But Shameless went for the most committed aggression. And it's going to pay off big time for him. This is such a huge win for Shameless. His first PiGFest. And you know, avoiding elimination in last place in the group, it's rare. If you are a surprise qualifier, you're meant to go out in last place. You're meant to be lucky to take a map. For Shameless to take a series here would be such a huge moment for him. The Immortals trying to start a step back. There are a lot of batteries there, but there's no Prism to pick him up, and that is painful. Oh, he's going to lose both Immortals before they can really do anything. Trigger has to tap out there. He needed a force field or something on that ramp. GG, well played, guys. Shameless, excellent PvP, and he stays alive to fight in that final decider match. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed those games. If you guys want to go the extra mile to support the channel, help us run big events like this, one of the best ways you can do that is actually going ahead and checking out some cool stuff over on our Patreon. Of course, we've got a bunch of exclusive rewards and perks there based on the different tiers you sign up for, and it's just a great way to support the channel. So go over there, click on that, and check it out. We'll put a link about here. Special thanks to everyone here on the Wall of Bacon who already is supporting the channel, as well as anyone if you've supported it in the past. We still appreciate that very much. But for now, a special thanks to Peden and Dragosar and Oko HR, conductors of the D-Town Express. Conductors? Oh my god, conductors! Conductors of the D-Town Express. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye and good night.